we continue to endeavor to understand the nature of emptiness. And on Tuesday the question was asked again, if we're no longer the pencil with which God writes, as Mother Teresa has said, and we're no longer the hole in the flute through which God plays, then what are we? And there's a scientific question that's been posed, and that is, if we create a vacuum and we place an object in that vacuum, does the vacuum wrap itself around the object, or does the object expand to fill the space? There was a story told on Tuesday, and the thread of it wasn't caught at that time, but let's see if we can capture it today. It's the story of the emperor, the Roman emperor Antonius, and he was riding out with a troop of his soldiers hunting in the forest, but his stallion was much faster and much fitter than the others, and so very soon he lost his troop, and it came to dusk, evening time, and he was very tired and very thirsty, and he saw a light in the distance that happened to be a little cabin. So he made his way to that cabin and knocked on the door, and an elderly couple answered the door and invited him in. "You're welcome, you're a guest. Come, join us." And as it happened, the elderly couple said to the Emperor Antonius, "Oh, we are of the Jewish faith, and we work very hard every day, but this evening is the evening of our celebration of the coming of the Sabbath, our day of rest, and we give everything to this celebration." So, with great ritual, 2 white candles were lit, and blessings were given, and then songs were sung, and then stories were told. At first, the emperor thought, "Oh, these people are very odd." But then, after a while, he found himself singing along, tapping his feet, and then joining in with the stories, and laughing in ways that he hadn't done since he was a young boy. And after these initial celebrations, chicken soup was served. And when the emperor tasted this chicken soup, he said, "This is the best chicken soup I have ever eaten. Tell me, how is it made?" So the elderly couple painstakingly described how the soup was prepared, and the emperor wrote it down word for word. The next day the elderly couple took the emperor out and showed him the way to the path that would lead back to his palace. And when he got there, he immediately went to his chefs and asked them to prepare the chicken soup. But when he tasted the chicken soup, he said, "This is not like the chicken soup that I ate." So the next day he went down to the kitchens and he oversaw the way the chicken soup was made himself. But still, it didn't taste the same. So he thought to himself, "Oh, this couple must have left out some secret ingredient that they didn't tell me about." So he decided to go back and visit them. And when he did and knocked on the door, and again he was greeted as a welcome guest, he described to them and asked them, well, tell me, what's this secret ingredient in your soup, because I had my chefs make it and it wasn't the same. Well, the elderly couple had a few words to one another. And then they turned to the emperor and they said, well, you know, it wasn't the chicken soup that was made ready for you. It was you who was made ready for the chicken soup. When you came, you were jaded, you were lost, you were tired, you were hungry, you were thirsty. And then the songs, the rituals, the celebrations, and then the chicken soup. Ah, the emperor said, I've got it. Said, can I come back again and share your chicken soup with you? And of course the couple welcomed him, as always, saying you're welcome at any time, graciously. How does this describe for us the phenomena that occurs? And there's no doubt or no question that each of us has experienced it in one way or another. Maybe on a social occasion we've been sitting and everybody's chatting, then all of a sudden you lapse into a receptive silence. What happens? Immediately your neighbor or the person across the table will bring up something. And it's usually, if you really observe, you find that it's not something just petty or to make conversation. Something deep comes out of them that they wouldn't expect. Have you ever had that experience? No doubt we have. No doubt. And we can practice this. We can play with this if you want. Because it does give us an experience of answering this question. What is it that happens when a vacuum is created? Does the vacuum wrap around it, or does the object expand to fill this space? And in so doing, we experience for ourselves that which we seek to understand. A space, an emptiness, a receptivity. And we learn that instead of being that which moves out into life, that life moves into us. And in so doing, we know what it is that we are when we're no longer the pencil or the hole in the flute. That's our destination. Can we live like that? Yes, we can. Can we live our life perpetually empty, perpetually in that state of vacuousness, where we have no shields, no barriers against that which life brings in for us? This is our means of coming to understand the nature of emptiness. See for yourself at your next social function, or when you're sitting at the coffee shop with a friend. Try it and see what happens. Recognize and answer this question. Does it wrap around, or does the object expand? You know the answer already, don't you? Of course we do. We know the answer already. But can we live like this? Yes, we can. in that state of perpetual receptivity. Yes, we can. Is that emptiness? That you'll have to find out for yourself. Thank you, thank you.